So the one thing my mom looks forward to every single day for I don't even know for how long she's been doing this for is her daily walks alone around the neighborhood. And I literally called her the other day to tell her that she cannot do that anymore. Since the beginning of COVID-19, Asians have experienced a 1900% increase in Asian hate crimes. Also, 1 out of 4 Asian Americans have experienced Asian hate during this pandemic. So growing up in a predominantly white neighborhood with very few Asians in my city, I've been called chink, gook, chungli, go back to China, and guess what I did? Nothing. To stay quiet and turn the other cheek, just mind your own business. 2, we have all been trapped in this model minority stereotype. Not getting any better, Asian Americans are being attacked, specifically our elders. It's our duty as Americans to speak up about what is happening right now and what needs to be heard. If mainstream media won't cover it, well,
Please treat this video like it's a typical makeup tutorial. There are innocent Asian Americans who are being harassed all around the nation, and a lot of them are elders. This past week, an 84-year-old Thai man was murdered, and it was suspected that the motive was racism. The elderly Asian man sadly passed away 2 days after the attack. On February 9th, an anti-Asian racist slur was painted on a building across the street from a Chinese-American international school. Last year, an 89-year-old Asian woman was slapped across the face and set on fire. In September of 2020, an Asian woman, Yi Lee, was sexually assaulted and brutally murdered by a group of teenagers. This past week, a 64-year-old grandmother was robbed of $1,000 in broad daylight. Yesterday, around the Bay Area, an Asian man was beaten and robbed about $15 grand. A couple days ago, a man was arrested for multiple assaults on Asian Americans, one of them being a 91-year-old elder. Last year, a teenager in Texas tried to stab and kill an entire Asian American family, one of them being 6 years old. And these are only a couple of the attacks. And if you can't see this is racially motivated, you are part of the problem. Open your eyes and listen. They can't burn us all.
If you care about the Asian lives being taken away, please watch this video. As you well know, hate crimes against Asians have been surging since the beginning of the pandemic. San Francisco has been surging with anti-Asian hate crimes. An 84-year-old Thai man lost his life, and no one's doing anything about it. So I'm addressing the mayor of San Francisco, London Breed, as well as District Attorney Tessa Boudin. You have failed to care for our people. Countless times, they have freed criminals with very long records that ended up killing innocent people. In the link in my bio, you will see multiple petitions. 2 of these petitions are to hold the mayor and the district attorney accountable. These people with a position of power are not caring for the people that are being killed. So please sign the petition so we can get justice. The things happening in this world today are very serious and not to be ignored. So please, either stand with us or move out the way.
From the hottest days to the coldest nights, we out on these streets, fighting for Asian lives. From the hottest days to the coldest nights, we out on these streets, fighting for Asian lives.
So today I got this DM on my Instagram. I have 1.6 million people following me on this platform, and it would be such a waste if I didn't use it to talk about real issues that are very personal to me. I'm currently in Korea, but that doesn't mean that I don't feel all of the frustration, the hate, the sadness, the anger, the triggers, all of that that's happening in the US right now because of Asian hate crimes. The way Asian elders are treated in America is absolutely disgusting. The racism that Asian children experience every single day at school is disgusting. And the worst part about this is because of the model minority stereotype, we don't say anything and we pretend like everything's okay. So this video is to encourage all of my Asian brothers and sisters to speak up and use your platforms no matter if you have 1 follower or 100 million followers. And if speaking about racism and hate bothers you, I think it says something more about you than it does about me.
Asians were taught by our parents to turn the other cheek in face of racism, prejudice, and abuse. Asians were taught by our suppressors to know our place. They want us to believe that anti-Asian racism doesn't exist, and so we stayed silent. My name is Tina Chen Craig.
I'm Prabal Gurung.
hi, I'm Chriselle Lim.
And I need your help.
To stop Asian hate.
Protect our elders.
Hate crimes against Asian Americans are on a disturbing rise. A lot of this has been caused by misplaced hate and anger and frustration. Hate crimes against Asian Americans have increased by 1,900% in the last year alone, yet mainstream media isn't reporting on it. So it's up to us to speak up. Silent no more.
Di Sorry, whose idea was it to put that in the script?
I'm so glad this showed up on my For You page because it reminded me of how much I don't like Tina Fey because she consistently disrespects the Asian community. Have you noticed that she always has Asian characters in her comedy? They're always fobs, they speak broken English, they always have accents. Like in the Mean Girls clip that I stitched, the translation was N-word please. In other translations, they said that the girl said B-word please. When she didn't say that at all, she said come on please. That was the direct translation. But they translated it incorrectly, betting that the audience wouldn't know the actual translation just for the shock factor. The jokes aren't even accurate, and she doesn't care. I mean, she named her character Trang Pak, which isn't even an accurate name because it's a half Korean name and a half Vietnamese name. And then she has the Vietnamese high schooler go make out with the coach, which is basically pedophilia. I'm gonna make a part 2.
I'm so done with this, of our elders and our people being attacked and murdered, and there's no coverage and there's no justice. And this isn't new. Ever since Asians stepped foot in this country, we've been treated as second-class citizens. We've been pitted against other communities of color, constantly scapegoated, and when we do speak up, we get gaslit and invalidated. When we speak up, we're silenced. When we stand up, we're shut down. And I've had enough. We've never been silent. It's just no one listens to us. So we're gonna make our voices be heard. This is a time for Asian Americans to come together, set aside our differences, and stand strong as one. Racism and hate has got to go.
Tell me what's different about those eggs, Maxine.
That they're not the same color.
Okay, one is brown and one is white.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna crack them open. Are they the same or different?
Same.
Same, right? So the inside, they are both the same. People are different on the outside. We look different. Some people speak different languages. Some people have different colored skin. Some people have different eyes. We just look different, and that's what makes us unique. It makes us special. That, right? If everyone looked the same, it would be super boring. So we're different on the outside, but everything on the inside of us is the same. Everyone has a heart. Everyone feels joy. Everyone feels sadness.
Everyone feels emotions.
Right.
I want to make it clear that awareness should not be the end goal of your activism. It's a way to rally people to support your cause and incite action, but it's not going to solve the issue. Protests, for example, are a tool used to put pressure on a government or other higher-ups to respond to the demands of a movement. But there needs to be actual demands and measures to address the problems of a system. Do you want to pass a law? Do you want reform? As an example, we can see how BLM has been working since 2013, some of their demands being to defund the police or to end qualified immunity, to fire and charge the police that have murdered members of the Black community. This isn't to compare BLM to advocating against anti-Asian hate crimes, but we can't just blindly support any and all activism against racism towards Asians because we're angry. Without tangible goals, we won't see real change because reactionary activism will only result in short-lived anger and burnout. I agree we need unity and to push for change, but I think we should do it in a way that's productive.
There has been a spike in anti-Asian hate crimes. Asians are now regularly getting beat, harassed, spat on, murdered, and jumped. An 84-year-old Thai man was murdered. A Burmese family, including toddlers, were stabbed in a grocery store because of COVID. A 61-year-old Filipino man had his face slashed on the subway. A 91-year-old was senselessly pushed to the ground in Oakland's Chinatown. And Asian women have been set on fire and doused with acid. Since COVID, hate crimes like these have skyrocketed and now average to 100 per day. But none of this is new. The truth is that anti-Asian violence has a very deep history in the United States. Asians have always been seen as a threat to America and have been systemically oppressed in the form of violent US imperialism, internment camps, yellow peril, immigration policy, and exploitation. So please, as the violence against Asians is increasing, please stand with us.
Hey guys, there's been a lot of attacks towards the Asian community, especially the elders, since the whole coronavirus thing happened. Like, they're blaming us, even kids, like the kids getting stabbed, a couple months ago. And then recently, an 84-year-old man got basically tackled out of nowhere and murdered. He died 2 days later. So there's tons of attacks, like another old man getting slashed in the face, just for living their life. And it's not talked about. Right? So that's why people think that we're model minority and nothing happens to us. But they forget about the concentration camps. They forget about the plight of our immigrant parents, how they got fucked with. So they think we're perfect. We go through shit too. But it's time for us as Asians to stand up. It's time for us as people to unite and stop fucking stepping on each other and hold hands, shake each other's hands, give each other hugs and be like, yo, we in it together, man. We're not alone. But fucking rise up, Asians. Don't be scared. We're speaking out now, all right? Do it!
I want to talk about the uptick of anti-Asian violence happening recently. There have been over 20 attacks in just the past couple of weeks, a lot of them happening to the elderly in California. And obviously this is really upsetting and not okay at all. It's important to stand up for our community and to prevent this from continuing. But being anti-Black or anti-BLM, calling for increased police surveillance is not the answer. The police aren't going to fix this. Like, an Asian 19-year-old was shot and killed by police on December 30th while he was having a mental health crisis and had his hands up. Police brutality is an issue that affects the Asian community as well. The violence against Asians occurring is a symptom of white supremacy and should be another reason for solidarity. So yes, we should continue to report these hate crimes and call for coverage, but advocating against the racism Asians experience doesn't have to come at the expense of the Black community, and I think we should keep that in mind as we seek justice.
What the fuck? Oh my god, you drink some water.
Drink some water? What the fuck? That's why I'm choking!